Welcome to the Mastering Business Skills podcast, where we interview successful small business owners who share their own journey, mastering the skills they needed to grow and be successful in their business. Learn the struggles, the wins, and all the things they learned along the way, so you can cut down on your own learning curve.
Hi, welcome to Mastering Business Skills. On today's show, we're talking to Kenny Perry. Kenny is originally from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and is the visionary founder behind Organic Mindset Agency. With the business strategically headquartered between Wilmington, Delaware, and Toronto, Canada, Kenny finds himself constantly traversing the border, seamlessly blending the best of both American and Canadian business landscapes. Organic Mindset Agency stands at the forefront of digital marketing innovation, specializing in the creation of AI-powered automated websites equipped with lead-generating engines. Capable of building or overhauling websites in a mere 21 days or less, the agency ensures each project is SEO optimized to stand out in the digital realm. Beyond website development, Organic Mindset Agency extends its expertise to SEO, online advertising, social media growth, and branding services, empowering clients to sell their products and services effectively while dedicating their focus to new business opportunities. Kenny, welcome to the show. We're so excited to talk to you today.
Listen, no, it's a pleasure to be here with you, Erin and Sharon. It rhymes. It almost sounds like you guys are a tag team or something. So I just wanted to thank you both for having me on here. It's much appreciated.
Great, thank you.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
And so we'll just jump right in and have you tell us a little bit about what you do and what inspired you to start your business.
Absolutely. So I'm the founder of Organic Mindset Agency. So we are a full-fledged digital marketing agency that specializes in AI-powered automated websites. So we have a flagship product that really stands out in the industry. And, we really focus on the importance of clear messaging, clear call to action, and having an SEO optimized platform. Now, what really made me get into this space was, like when I went to college for communications, and, I've done some freelance marketing work on the side. And coming out of school, I always wanted to work in marketing. But the problem was entry-level job barely paid the bills. So it was one of those things. When I finished school, I got into banking, and then I went into the insurance industry, worked on the account management side and the project side of things. And then I decided to, come up with the aha moment during the pandemic when I decided, okay, I wanted to launch something that, one, is scalable, two, I can operate in an online space, and three, God forbid we go through another pandemic, it's pandemic proof. So that's what I decided to do. So, there's some brainstorming. It took a few years of planning, probably about 2.5 years of planning from pandemic to when I actually initially launched at the tail end of 2022. And yeah, it's just been great. And, being able to really create, a business that, one, the name really resonates with people. It's like, a lot of the time, like, are you a mindset coach? Are you a health and wellness specialist? They don't know what I am essentially in terms of what my business is. So I love that, I would say very vagueness about, being able to figure out what I do. But then when they, come into like my space and I'm able to showcase, okay, this is what we do, this is what we specialize in. A lot of the time people are like, okay, I'll book another call. Or if they just don't have obviously the funds at the time, then it's like, okay, maybe they refer business to me. So it's like, it's one of those things. Once I get someone on a call, I know like, what we do is definitely revolutionary and game changing. So that's pretty much what we specialize in.
Nice.
Awesome. So Kenny, I have a question. What were the most important skills that you needed to start your business, and how did you acquire those skills? I mean, did you have formal education? I know you said you went to college, but did you have formal education for your business? Is it self-taught? Is it mentorship? I mean, even trial and error. God knows we all do trial and error. So I'm sure that plays a part in somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. How I acquired the skills, obviously, being in, college, going to university, doing, the 4 or 5 years there, and being able to, really meet with people of different walks of life, right? And it's a lot of the time I find like when you have professors throughout, your time and your tenure when you're at a institution, I found that during my time throughout my college years, I was able to really connect with some of my profs that, I've really developed a, relationship with in terms of, asking questions, asking them how they're different. Because I initially thought about doing my master's, doing my PhD and becoming a professor. So I was always intrigued by how they were able to operate. It was flexible schedule, summers off. These are things I looked at and I was like, this would be great because I love public speaking. I love instructing. I love showing people how to do things. So, all the way going back to, elementary school and then through middle school and then through high school and then all through college, doing presentations and being able to, teach people how to do things, explaining something that I'm passionate about and learning, the art of PowerPoint when I was in, middle school, being able to really figure out how to effectively communicate and, get my point across and explain things in an effective manner is what really drove me to really, really, push my business and being able to, get out in front of people and connect with people in the sense, because a lot of the time I know how to build connections with people because I find that's a lost art when it comes to networking. And when it comes to that is I go back to even in my childhood is, when I, meet a group of friends and then I have another friend that's kind of on the outside and, and I feel that, they'd be pretty cool if they, mesh together. So I, sometimes would connect friends from different friend groups and then they became friends and they got to a point where they were able to hang out without me. So I've taken that ideology and applied it into business being like, okay, this person has a common interest with that person. Maybe I'll do an introduction. Now, what I find when it comes to the role of introduction, it's a skill set that I've learned in the role of networking is I find that people really need to understand what the person does to give an effective introduction. Because a lot of the time people are like, oh yeah, here's Kenny, they make websites. That's it. It's not, okay, he makes AI powered websites. They specialize in getting it done on this platform in the 21 days or less. Significantly stronger, introduction when it comes to that sense, because you're able to get an idea and a grasp of what I do. And that's why I always ask people after I have a call with them and I feel that there might be somebody in my network I can introduce them to. I say, send me an email, a quick paragraph on how you want to be introduced. So therefore, when I do that introduction, it's word for word on how they want to be introduced, and I didn't miss anything. So that's a skill set that I learned how to really develop when it comes to the world of networking. I also learned that when you connect with people, not every single person you meet with is going to become a client. They may just become a friend. Like, Erin has become a friend of mine and, I've done things, try to help her out as much as possible in terms of introductions and whatnot. And, it's just, we met, organically through networking. And, having said that, I find that's something that is a skill set that I very, really much cherish within myself in that sense. And then being able to tailor my, whether it's presentation, whether it's how I speak, my cadence of how I speak, being able to tailor that approach, I find is being able to mirror and be able to really adapt to who I'm speaking with based off of their tone and their cadence and whatnot.
That's an awesome skill set to have. And I think it's very much needed right now. I think there's a lot of people lacking in that.
Absolutely. I agree.
So tell us a little bit. I know you and I have had this conversation a little bit, but tell us why it's important to have an optimized website and how much weight does it really carry in your company's success, in the marketing plan and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So I get this question a lot because, we look at hundreds of websites on a monthly basis. Majority of people don't have websites with clear messaging, clear call to action. And it's just the design of it. They just throw it together. They just throw it on Squarespace. They pay somebody $300 on Fiverr, and they just don't want to spend the money and invest in it. So they look at, having an optimized website as an expense, because I can guarantee you that same person when Black Friday rolls around and there's a TV that's, that's normally $4,500 and it's on sale for $2,000. Oh, they magically have money. So it comes down to priorities at the end of the day, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, when I explain to people the importance of being able to have, a website that's optimized and that actually, really, really sells your business for itself. And what I really say is I compare it to like this. I'm like, look, if you operate in an online space, you don't have a brick and mortar location, your website is your brick and mortar location. So whether you're, selling a coaching program or whether you're selling, products through an e-commerce store, whether you're just, book a call with me to, discuss my services. Whatever you have displayed on that site is going to be a deciding factor if somebody's going to actually want to work with you or not. So I tell people, I call it the 8-second rule. I look into the neuroscience of the psychology of how people read and react to things. And why I say the 8 seconds or less is because you have 8 seconds to catch someone's attention. Now, when you're on a call, you'll notice when you're even on a networking call, you're on a business call, people's eyes are wandering from side to side. And what that means is they're distracted by something. An email is coming through, a text message from their significant others coming through, a headline of what's going on in the stock market, a sports headline. People are always moving and adapting to something at the same time. So I say, within 8 seconds or less, I want to have a website that's going to captivate you. The call to action is going to be there. It's going to be optimized. They're going to know what you do. They're going to know, what it is you offer. If it's a booking link, whatever it is, you're going to be able to figure that out within the first 8 to 10 seconds of scrolling up and down, even with your eyes, or if you go up and down on the website. So what I do is I build a design. I get my team to build out a design that actually, talks to the person. So they get on the site. Okay, boom. Wow. I really like the first 8 seconds of it. I want to scroll down. Okay. They have a video on there. Okay. I want to scroll down. There's a call to action on there. So as they get to the bottom, they'll see that, okay, if they have a Google My Business page, that's optimized. So the Google My Business integration is built into the screen. So they're able to see the reviews and testimonials, and then they can go down again and they're able to see that, okay, this person actually has a site that's built to convert. So whether it's an intake form or whatever it may be, it's all in the site. And that's going to really help you in a nutshell when it comes to optimizing your business. And the language that we use is going to be very friendly in terms of getting more clicks and traffic. Long-winded answer, but yeah.
No,
Oh, that's
it was
awesome.
great. Yeah, it was a good answer.
Thanks.
And what about the AI portion? I know you recently added in more AI options for people to do. Can you tell us a little bit about that and like what AI can do to support someone's business and why they would want to put it on their site? I know a lot of people are still kind of exploring that option, the AI area, and is it going to help them? Is it going to take business away from them? Things like that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so AI, we implement chatbots into the site where it actually program them to, learn your products, information and services, communicate, et cetera. I feel having, that AI component, having widgets, whether it's, adapted to your Google My Business, whatever it may be, really helps in a nutshell, because it really helps with one, establishing identity, establishing, being able to, have a site that's all intact in terms of the layout, the design and everything like that as well. And, having that aspect built into the site has really, really helped a lot of businesses, especially on the industries that are service based, because therefore someone's looking for a quote, somebody's wondering if you can meet at this date, somebody has a certain limitation or special request they need to have. Having an AI chatbot that can communicate or redirect to that person has been substantially successful for a lot of different industries, and that's something that we really focus on as well.
Great.
Yeah, that's true. I know a lot of people that I talk to are not necessarily scared of the using AI with their websites or their blog posts or anything like that. They're a little leery of it. And I get that feedback every now and then. But I think the more that we go into AI, I think we're going to see it's used a whole lot more than maybe what a lot of people even realize.
Agreed. I totally agree with you in that sense.
So looking back, I mean, are there any skills that you wish that you had learned sooner? Is there anything you wished you'd learned earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say this networking skill that I was talking about earlier, and being able to efficiently network properly, I thought of something I should have learned earlier. And it was something that I really started to figure out within my first year and a half in business, because I was getting introductions and I'm reading the introductions people are giving, and they were just so half-assed, excuse my French. And I just, couldn't really resonate with it. And it's like, what?
Right.
A guy that just makes websites. It's like, okay, there's thousands of people, millions of people out there that make websites. What makes me different? They're going to be like, they're going to read it and be like, okay, I'll have a call with you just because such and such referred me. But, it doesn't really resonate with people. And then I, at the same time was doing, kind of similar things. And I said, you know what? Let me ask people how they want to be introduced. And it was just something that just came to me. It was an aha moment. And I was like, I tried the strategy, and then getting people on calls to meet with others. I thought, okay, I'm introducing them in the words they want to be introduced. So I have a folder that I have separated, and it's called my intro folder. And I have all the people in there that I've come across that I think that are great referral partners. And what I do is I copy paste when I go in and do the introduction. So therefore nothing's left out. If they want their website included in there, I'll include that, or their LinkedIn profile or whatever it may be, or Lineable. And, I just copy paste, and then, they can check it out, and then they can book into each other's calendars. And then, that just makes it a lot more efficiently. I also feel that building organic connections is something that I wish I would have, no pun intended with the organic, but building organic connections when it comes to, meeting with people, because, I feel that a lot of business owners, when they get on calls, every single call for them is a sales call. And it's like,
Yeah.
you have to learn how to read the room. You have to learn, how to realize you're going to build a relationship with somebody and not think that, oh yeah, just because I'm hopping on a call with them, I have to pitch. We always say no pitch slapping. So it's one of those things, right? So you get on a call, you build that connection, and then, hey, they may think of you if they need if they have a need for use of your business and whatnot. But if not, then they may know somebody down the road. And then, sometimes I'll just do touch points with somebody. It's a quick 15-minute virtual coffee chat. How you doing? How's the kids? How's life? How's your parents doing? How's like that. And then just small things like that goes a long way with people, because, people were like, wow, this is actually a person that's not looking at me as a transaction.
Right. No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I think of all my clients that I work with as friends and family. I mean, that's the kind of relationship that I feel that I need to build with them. I'm not just doing work for them. I'm a part of their team. They're part of, me. And connection, I think, is sorely needed right now.
100%. I agree with you.
Yeah. And I think that's actually why Kenny and I actually got along, was because we weren't pitching each other when we first met. We were like, and I can't remember if we were introduced or if we met on a networking call, but we do so many of them that, it's, and that was one of the things Kenny immediately pops into my head every time I have somebody, a client or anybody who might need a website or, marketing teams that I work with. So that's always a good intro then for me. But yeah, I think had he gotten on the call and been like, hey, my websites are the best. This
exactly.
We
wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, he would have moved to my "we don't want to talk again" file.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honey, if you could give one piece of advice to someone starting a business with maybe they don't have any prior experience or they're starting a new area of business than what they're used to, what would it be?
Oh my God, that's a question I love, because when I think back, when I started my business, I was like scared to death. It was one of those things where it's just to get out in front of people. I was nervous, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like I'm just starting out. And it was terrifying. It was daunting. It was like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute and be like, okay, I hope I land properly, right? Because you kind of figure out how to pull it. If not, then it's a face plant and it's gonzo. So it's one of those things. I would say really understand your purpose is the main thing. I would say, you understand why you're doing what you do. Like for me, my purpose is I love what I do. I love helping people. I love knowing that someone puts their trust to work with me and we're able to create a conversion focused site, or we're able to generate leads for them through a marketing campaign, through SEO or whatever it is. That is music to my ears. That's what, keeps me going every day. That's what really makes me really love what I do. If someone just going on a call and seeing my clients smile and be like, wow, this is exactly what we needed. Thank you so much. That hits here harder than anything else. So understanding your why is extremely important, I would say, when it comes to, the world of business and everything like that. I would also say, being able to not be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. It's part of it, whether it's how you pitch somebody, whether it's somebody not wanting to use you as your service or whatever it is. It may not be your timing at the time, right? You got to learn how to get through adversity. You can't be too hard on yourself. You have to think about like major brands like Nike and, even like luxury brands like Gucci and, Amazon. Like I believe, Amazon didn't get their first sale for years, and look at, that's $1 billion mogul now. So it's like, you have to understand everybody has to start somewhere, and it's a slow grind, right? I mean, there's some people that shoot up and get huge success immediately. Those are unicorns. If they were out there every single day, everybody would do an entrepreneurship. But if you're somebody who really believes in what you do, you have your why intact, you have a passion for what you do, and understand that it's a slow grind and that you're going to get there. You have to put the time in, and no matter how discouraged you get, no matter how hard things get, you have to just keep your head up and really, really try to push to the finish line. I feel it's the most important thing. And understand what makes you different as well, because, the majority of us are going to come into an industry that's saturated. For us, it's, I knew that the name and the branding of my business is what would really make us stand out. And, when I started connecting with people and the name, they're like organic mindset, organic mindset. And I was like, yo, I came up with this name and, like organic mindset to me, it was like, it's something that I hold close to my chest because when I think of it, it's like, it's all right, organic mindset agency. My logo is a tree transforming into a brain. My slogan is growing your business is all in your mind. So it resonates with people. So that's just something that I would say, do something that resonates with people, be very, 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 unique in the sense where you're not over the top unique, but you stand out and people will remember you. So that's what I would say in a nutshell for people that are just starting out, and don't be afraid to make mistakes and really understand your why.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So how do you continue learning and improving as a business owner?
Absolutely. For myself, it's really, really watching trends. You know what I'm saying? So like for myself, really starting out, and in the beginning, it's a struggle because you don't know how to really approach people. You don't know how to really stay relevant. You don't know how to have people wanting to know what you do. So like, for me, it's a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading, a lot of podcasts I listen to. I like to consistently stay relevant. So I look at, how the world's evolving. So when I saw, okay, AI is really going to be the wave of the future.
Yeah.
And, there's just this whole revolution of artificial intelligence taking over in all aspects. I was like, you know what, I can really utilize this and implement it into, my onboarding experience through the, our AI chatbots we implement into the site and stuff. So I figured that's going to be a way for, my business to really stand out. And just being able to be different with my branding. Like, I come up with a hashtag, think organic mindset. And, it's just ways to consistently try to stay relevant and to stay unique in the sense where people really, really will resonate with myself and my brand as well.
That's great.
Thanks.
And so what does success mean to you? And has that definition for you changed over the time that you've been in business?
Absolutely. It has changed because it's like, you set certain goals for yourself. And in the beginning, when you get slapped in the face with reality, realizing that this entrepreneur thing is a lot harder than you think it is, right? And then it's like, okay, then you get your first client. It's like, oh wow, like you're so shocked to get your first client that you're like, you just don't know what to do with yourself. But then when you get your second, your third, then it starts to change a bit. Then once you get to a point to, you hit a certain threshold of what you thought what revenue could be or what you never thought you would get to, and then it's like, all right, this could be something here. And then it's success to me is it's an ever going, moving, I would say goalposts where it consistently moves. It's like, it's there and it's floating. It's on wheels. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just, you hit the brakes on it. It's like, you hit it for a second and then you think, okay, you know what? Let me get to that point. Then you try to get to that point. You push it back further. Then you push it back further. You push it back further. And then it's like, I think it's ever moving and there's not really a point of success. This is my own definition as to where you feel like, okay, I'm good. And then obviously as things change, people start having families, then, there's, your business grows, then you have to find a healthy balance, and I feel having a healthy balance is also success to me because, obviously, you're like someone like myself, I'll be watching a basketball game or a football game. Somehow my laptop or my iPad ends up on my lap. And I want to just surf the net or something, but an email comes through and I look at it, or I go on Lineable and I'm looking to connect with someone, or I'm doing a post or social media. So it's always something business related. So I'm trying to have a better balance, and I feel having a better balance is success. So like if I'm watching something and my my iPad ends up on my lap or my MacBook ends up on my lap, try to avoid always looking at something that's work related. So having a healthy balance is also success for me.
Yeah,
definitely. I completely get that because I also tend to do that, like checking the emails all the time, especially on my phone. That's my worst. Like I'm constantly on my phone checking emails. But I did kind of put that boundary around my laptop where it's extremely rare for me to take my laptop like out of my office when I'm not working and doing something else, because I will do the same thing. I'll go on and do client work, or I'll check emails.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's hard, isn't it?
It is. You think, okay, I need to go do this one thing or check this one email. And I come into my office and the next thing I know, it's like 3 hours later.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I try not to do that and set boundaries, but it's tough. It's tough.
Extremely.
So, is there any kind of personal habit or daily practice that has contributed to what your view of success is? I mean, I hear all the time, every day, I see on Facebook, do these 3 things every morning and, make your day. Is there anything like that that you do?
Well, besides working out, a lot of the time I get up at 5 a.m. to work out. If I don't get up at 5 a.m., I'll do it after work hours and try to go a little bit later in the evening after the 9 to 5ers go in and flood the gym. But working out is something that I do consistently and it keeps my mind right. And it just from a healthy aspect is good. Now that the weather's getting warmer, I'm gonna start cycling. So I normally cycle about, 10 miles, 10 to 15 miles per day. That helps as well. And then I would say another thing that I really, really enjoy doing is just meditation. I wake up in the morning and I set this thing on my Apple Watch. It's called Reflect, and I just take about 2 minutes and I just try to think of these positive thoughts to really start my day. It's like, okay, what am I going to do and what am I going to accomplish today? And I close my eyes and I sit back and I think about it for about 2 to 3 minutes and I manifest them. I talk to myself a little bit, I journal a little bit, and that's what really keeps me grounded in terms of, trying to keep, myself together, especially because there's times like, where you get stressed out and it's just things are just overwhelming or you had a slow month or, and it's just, it gets frustrating. And then sometimes you just got to remember why you're doing it and having that sense of why, that sense of purpose. And it really helps me get through things.
Yeah, I agree totally. Because there's times that I have to stop and think, okay, wait a minute. I need to stop being stressed out about this. I do this because I love it,
Hmm.
not to stress myself out. And so there's times I have to get up and walk away and just give myself a few minutes and then come back to it. So yeah, no, I
And
totally get it.
I like the meditation part too, because
Yeah.
I had a mentor for meditation that she said, when things are going good, you meditate. When things are going bad, you just meditate a little bit more. And I would find myself over the years doing that with the guided meditations, just periodically throughout the day, just to, keep myself grounded before I got back into the next project or call or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So what's next for your business? Is there any new skills that you want to learn? Any new implementations? Any new programs? What's next?
What's next for the business? I would just say just continued growth. I want to continue to, obviously change the world and change people's scope and how they see their business. I want them to consistently put smiles on people's faces while they're making results, making their money, doing whatever it may be. The next thing for me, it's I want to just continue to grow, right? And who knows, it might be something where in the future I might, develop into a coaching program or something. That might be something down the road that I've consistently thought of, and it's crossed my mind. I flirted with the idea of doing a coaching program, how to properly, market your business and things like that. So that's something that, that's obviously it's a little bit down the road. I want to continue to grow the business before I really start branching off and doing other things. But yeah, no, it's just, being able to, if I can walk into a conversation and, a call, a virtual call, and if somebody can walk away from that call knowing they learned something today that they didn't know yesterday, that to me is a win within itself. So, just being able to give people knowledge and, build connections with people. And, that's pretty much what I would say in terms of what's next for me is just continue growing. And, like I said, down the road, a coaching program might be something that I'll look at in a nutshell.
It'd be awesome. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for taking the time with us today and sharing everything. And we are going to put your links in profile and any other links that you want to share with us in the show notes so that everybody can reach out and get, have a call with you and hopefully connect.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thanks. And we hope that everybody who tunes in today will tune in again next week for our next episode. Thank you.